Remember the time when OpenAI was the golden child of Silicon Valley? When Sam Altman could basically do no wrong and ChatGPT was the revolutionary? Well, that was fun while it lasted, because right now OpenAI is facing what might be the most spectacular implosion in tech history. And I'm not talking about your typical startup drama here. This is a $300 billion company that's losing talent faster, watching billion-dollar deals collapse in real time, and racing against a clock that could cost them everything. If you're into tech stories that read like corporate thrillers, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, this one's got everything, power struggles, and enough plot twists to make Netflix jealous. So let's dive into the inside story of how OpenAI went from being the darling of the AI world to, well, whatever this mess is. Sam Altman wakes up, probably checks his phone like any normal CEO, and gets a text that basically says, "Hey, you're fired. Board meeting at noon. Don't be late to your own execution." I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. The OpenAI board decided that Altman wasn't being consistently candid with them, which is corporate speak for "we don't trust this guy anymore." The board included Ilya Sutskever, one of OpenAI's co-founders and chief scientist. Within hours, President Greg Brockman quit in solidarity. Then something beautiful and terrifying happened. Many OpenAI employees signed a letter saying they'd quit and follow Altman to Microsoft unless the board reversed course. 700 people. That's not employee loyalty. That's a cult following. For 4 days, the AI world held its breath. Would OpenAI survive? Would Microsoft end up with the entire team? Was this the end of the company that started the AI boom? Plot twist. The board blinked first. New board. Altman's back. Everyone pretends to be friends again. But here's the thing about cracks in the foundation. They don't just disappear because you paint over them. If the November crisis was the warning shot, 2024 became the year of the great exodus. And not the biblical kind, though some of these departures probably felt pretty apocalyptic to the people left behind. It started with Ilya Sutskever, the co-founder who helped firing Altman. He decided in May 2024 he wanted to quit. He launched a startup called Safe Superintelligence Inc., which sounds like the kind of company name you come up with when you're really worried about your former employer. Ilya leaving was just the opening act. In September 2024, Mira Marathi, the CTO, gone. Bob McGrew, Chief Research Officer, gone. Barrett Zoff, VP of Research, also gone. All within the same week. Now officially, these were all personal decisions. When 3 senior executives all decide simultaneously that they need to find themselves, that's not self-discovery, that's a pattern. John Schulman, another co-founder, decided that working at Anthropic might be more fun. Tim Brooks, the guy behind Sora, that mind-blowing video AI, packed his bags for Google DeepMind. Meta went full supervillain mode, targeting OpenAI researchers like they were collecting Pokemon cards. Lucas Bayer, Alexander Kolesnikov, Xiaohua Jai from the Zurich office, gone. Jiahui Yu, Hongyu Ren, Shuchao Bi, the guy who literally co-created GPT-4's voice mode, all gone. This isn't just normal Silicon Valley job hopping. This is systematic brain drain. When your most talented people are leaving for competitors, that's not a retention problem. That's an existential crisis. While OpenAI was busy trying to plug the talent leak, they decided to make some big moves. Enter Windsurf, a hot AI coding startup that OpenAI wanted to acquire for a cool $3 billion. On paper, this made perfect sense. Coding AI is huge, Windsurf had solid tech, and $3 billion is basically pocket change when you're valued at $300 billion. The deal was practically done. Signed letters of intent, investor payouts arranged, announcement ready to go. Then Microsoft showed up like that friend who always has opinions about your dating choices. So when Windsurf said, "We don't really want Microsoft poking around our IP," and OpenAI said, "Please, Microsoft, can we have this one thing?" Microsoft basically responded with, "LOL, no." The deal collapsed faster than a house of cards in a windstorm. And guess what happened next? Google swooped in like a vulture and hired Windsurf's CEO, co-founder, and core team for DeepMind. Not the whole company, just the brains behind it. So here we are in July 2025, and OpenAI is facing what business schools will probably study as a perfect case of how multiple crises can compound into something truly spectacular. The talent exodus isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Meta's $100 million signing bonuses have turned talent retention into an arms race that OpenAI is losing. Every week brings news of another key researcher jumping ship. The Microsoft relationship, once OpenAI's greatest asset, has become their biggest constraint. They can't make major acquisitions without Microsoft's blessing, but Microsoft's business interests don't always align with OpenAI's growth plans. That December 31st deadline for-profit conversion isn't getting any further away. 5 months to restructure a $300 billion company, get regulatory approval, satisfy lawyers, and keep everyone happy. The GPU shortage that Sam Altman keeps complaining about? Still a thing. Hard to train world-class AI models when you don't have enough computers to run them on. Project Stargate, their answer to infrastructure limitations, has stalled out in financing discussions and regulatory complexity. Turns out building half-trillion-dollar infrastructure projects is more complicated than tweeting about them. And through all of this, competitors keep releasing better models, cheaper models, faster models. The Chinese companies aren't waiting for OpenAI to figure out their governance issues, they're shipping. This is what happens when a company grows too fast to build proper foundations. Success can mask structural problems for a while, but eventually everything comes due at once. OpenAI's struggles aren't just corporate drama, they're a preview of what happens when the AI boom hits reality. First, the talent wars are unsustainable. When companies are offering $100 million signing bonuses, we've officially entered bubble territory. This isn't normal market competition. This is desperation masquerading as strategy. Second, the governance challenges OpenAI faces aren't unique. Every AI company is struggling with the same fundamental question. How do you build systems that could reshape humanity while also running a profitable business? OpenAI's weird non-profit-for-profit hybrid was an attempt to solve this, and look how that's working out. Third, the speed of competition suggests that first-mover advantage in AI might be shorter than anyone expected. OpenAI had maybe 18 months of clear technological leadership. That's not enough time to build an unassailable moat, especially when your competitors include the world's largest tech companies and entire nation-states. The Chinese AI surge is particularly telling. When DeepSeek can build GPT-level models for 1% of the cost, that's not just efficient engineering. That's a completely different approach to AI development. While Silicon Valley companies are spending billions on compute and talent, Chinese teams are finding ways to achieve similar results with radically less resources. This raises uncomfortable questions about the entire venture capital model that's been fueling AI development. If you can build world-class AI models for millions instead of billions, what happens to all those massive funding rounds and sky-high valuations? OpenAI's crisis might be the first sign that the AI industry is maturing from a land grab to actual sustainable business competition. And in that transition, being the biggest and most expensive doesn't guarantee survival. Being the most efficient might. So, can OpenAI pull itself out of this? The answer is maybe, but it's going to require some serious flying skills. They have to thread the needle of satisfying regulators, investors, employees, and their original nonprofit mission, all while maintaining operations and competing with rivals who don't have these distractions. At some point, throwing money at retention hits diminishing return. OpenAI needs to figure out why people are leaving beyond just compensation. Is it the work environment, the mission drift, the constant drama? Money can't fix everything. The Microsoft relationship needs a reset. Either they find a way to give OpenAI more autonomy for strategic decisions, or OpenAI needs to diversify their partnerships enough to reduce dependency. The current dynamic isn't sustainable for either party. Most importantly, OpenAI needs to ship. All the corporate restructuring and talent retention in the world won't matter if they can't deliver products that justify their valuation. GPT-5 needs to be revolutionary, not evolutionary. Their open source model needs to be competitive. They need to prove that their approach to AI development is still the best in the world. The good news? They still have substantial resources, a strong market position, and a clear technological vision. The brand recognition alone is worth billions. The bad news? They're running out of time to fix multiple existential problems simultaneously while competitors are moving at full speed. OpenAI's next 6 months will determine whether they're the company that pioneered the AI revolution or the cautionary tale about what happens when success comes too fast to handle. The story of OpenAI's rise and potential fall is still being written. Whether this ends in spectacular recovery or corporate implosion, it's going to be fascinating to watch. If you want to stay updated on how this plays out, and trust me you do, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This is the kind of tech drama that makes Silicon Valley look like a soap opera, and we're just getting to the good part. What do you think? Is OpenAI going to pull through this crisis, or are we watching the slow-motion collapse of AI's biggest success story? Drop your predictions in the comments. I'd love to hear if you think I'm being too optimistic or not pessimistic enough. Until next time, keep watching the future unfold. It's messier than anyone expected, but that's what makes it interesting.